Hi, this is Stuart Talley. I'm the partner here responsible for the prosthetic hip litigation, and the reason we're doing this video is to provide another update on the status of the first Pinnacle metal-on-metal hip case that's currently being tried in Dallas, Texas right now in federal court. Today we had a very interesting day in court. The plaintiff called to the stand an individual named Andrew Ekdahl. And Andrew Ekdahl is the CEO of DePuy, the defendant in the case. And this was the very first witness that he called. There were lots of very good points that the plaintiff's attorney made with this witness. What's interesting about Mr. Ekdahl is that he is the CEO, or was the CEO of DePuy. He's an individual with absolutely no medical background, no engineering background. He came up through the company as part of the sales division. He's always been a salesman. And one of the themes that the plaintiff's attorneys are putting forth in the case is that DePuy really had a culture of do whatever it takes to sell. And the people running the show were salesmen, and they were in the marketing arm of the company. At one point during the plaintiff attorney's opening statement, he indicated that there were people within sales and marketing that were involved in decisions on the design of the hip and the testing of the hip. And that's essentially unheard of in the medical device industry. Usually there's a big separation between the people responsible for safety and the people responsible for selling the device. During the testimony of Dr. Ekdahl, or Mr. Ekdahl, it was clear that those lines had been blurred at DePuy. So the testimony went very well. He showed that Mr. Ekdahl really is a marketing guy with very limited experience with medicine or engineering. He also demonstrated that after all the problems with this hip and some of the other hips that DePuy put on the market, one of which was recalled, the DePuy ASR, nothing bad happened to Mr. Ekdahl as the head of the departments responsible for these hips. In fact, he's been promoted again and again since these hips have had these problems. So it was very interesting testimony. The other thing that the plaintiff's attorney was able to do is to get the defendant, Mr. Ekdahl, to admit that the device at issue, the instructions for the device, really contained very little information about the angle at which the hip should be put in. That's a big defense argument. The big defense argument is that the cups were put in at a bad angle on this hip, and that's what caused the plaintiff's problems. Mark Lanier, the plaintiff's attorney, was able to get Mr. Ekdahl to admit that they really provide no training at all to the surgeons on what angle to put in this cup. They don't provide any warnings that say if you fall outside a range of angles that something terrible can happen. At one point, he actually showed that in the literature that comes with the hip, DePuy was actually telling doctors two different angles to put the hip in. At one point, they said the ideal angle is between 20 and 40 degrees, and at another point in the same document, they were telling surgeons the ideal angle was between 20 and 50 degrees. Mr. Ekdahl could not explain the discrepancy, thought it might have been a typo, but he just didn't know. So today was, I think, a good day for the plaintiffs. I think they scored a lot of points with respect to showing that the warnings were inadequate, sort of getting into the culture of DePuy and how they operate, and I think it was a good day. If you have a DePuy Pinnacle hip, you can reach us at the phone number on your screen. We have several hundred clients that we represent with all different kinds of defective prosthetic hips. Also, you can reach us through our website and fill out one of our online forms.